Everyone please welcome our Venerable Dhammajiva Thero. He's just here on the meditation retreat for the next 5 days. Today we're having our Dhamma discussion on how we can achieve our goals in life and, overcome obstacles that we go through every day. And it's pretty relevant given some events that's been happening over the last couple of days and weeks. So I think I'll hand it over to Bhante to get started. And we'll try and make this as interactive as possible. If you have any thoughts or ideas, questions, please put your hand up and we'll pass the mic over to you. Thanks.
Welcome everyone for this youth program. So at the beginning, may I apologize that I am not a youth. I am born in 1952. I am 57 years old. So selecting me as a part and participle of your meeting itself is a good welcoming for me, considering myself as a young, but I am fairly old. So 1 hour time has been allocated, and it has been just generally recognized as youth program. So I don't know what will be the best we can do. So if someone can suggest whether we can do a discussion or do you expect me to deliver a talk, what will be whatever may be, I would like to know from the young voices to listen what will be the most efficient way of using this valuable time.
If anyone wants to get started, you can put your hand up and we'll get started. Alright, I guess we'll start with something to do with goal setting, trying to be resilient from the Buddhist perspective. So I think we'll get started around that topic.
Yeah, that is what the first one is what is the simply purpose of this life? How can we set our goals? The second one is that how can we face the problem arises in the life problems. As far as the first one is concerned, the purpose of life, the ultimatum according to the Buddhism is the attaining the Nibbana. That is called going to the supramundane. And while going there, you have to be successful in the mundane world, hither and the thither also. So therefore, leaving that is something beyond this world, we have to understand to achieve the Nibbana itself, we must have the successful in this life. And if you are believing reincarnation or rebirth, in the next life also. So therefore, what is the purpose of this life? What we can, it is verifiable, tangible. So anyone have any idea about what must be our aim? I doubt whether we can come to one single aim, but it's a good question. It is an open thing. Where are we? Where are we leading to what? Any person can come out with any suggestion? I think he is expecting from me to give that what is the purpose of life, rather than I would like to know according to the present setup or according to your thinking pattern, what do you think?
Venerable Bhante, I just have a quick input into that. Something that I've been thinking of in the past year or so is, you ask what is the purpose, and I've been questioning that quite a bit actually. And for me, one of the things that kind of come, I guess, into being is probably helping people who are less fortunate than you. That's one of the purposes, I think, in this life, in simple terms, rather than looking at something like Nibbana, which is, a concept that is so, I can't even begin to even talk about it. So something a bit simpler is, try to help people in different ways. That's something I've been thinking.
Shall we take that as a topic? Helping others? So I will put a protest. I will say to help others, you must be qualified. So what are the qualifications you need to be a benevolent, helping people? Helping others, simply I am protesting. I am telling you must be qualified to handle others. For example, there may be some medical students that you all are coming out of with this compassion to help others, those who are fallen sick. But you know, to get you qualified to become a doctor before helping others, how much it is you have to go through number of red tapes and the qualifications and difficulties. So therefore, helping others is a benevolent, good thing. But to be qualified into that, I would put it the other way. Without you being qualified, if you are going to tackle it, are you helping really others? Or are you having a vested interest? And then you are also in trouble, they are also in trouble, and the national government policy also will be violated. And therefore, when you are presenting, you told, the Nibbana is something in the air, therefore we can't comprehend. So therefore we'll get something to the mundane and we can verify and check. And then it's a very good suggestion to say that is helping others. So I would say, the helping others is also a good thing, but to be rational, specifically countries like here, it's everything being well streamlined, so therefore each and everyone should have their own qualifications to help others. So if I put the question in this way, what are the basic qualifications you to be a good human so that you can help others? Anyone can contribute?
Compassion. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's what I was going to say. One word, just I was going to say open-mindedness, like not.
Yeah, or to yeah, please.
Sorry, I was just going to say, like, to have an open mind and not discriminate who you help. You know,
discriminate what?
Not to discriminate. Like you have to feel like you could help anybody, not just certain people. Like you have to feel like everyone has some good in them and you can help them.
So now, yet another word came, the compassion. This is the open-mindedness. If you consider open-mindedly the compassion, should you help yourself or you should help others? What must be the first? Helping oneself, at least to get qualified, and then helping others, one combination. The second one is, out of open-mindedness, out of compassion, you can say, for the moment I have some basic abilities and these things, I am going to help others. Out of these, what must be the priority? Helping yourself and compassionate to yourself, and then you go with the others with the qualifications. Or otherwise you can say, for the moment I have certain amount of resources and abilities, so right now I am going to do, because I have open-mindedness, I have the compassion.
I would argue that if you keep putting it off till later, you won't do it. So first you have to try and learn from experience as well. Otherwise, sometimes you can just say, I need to do this and you never get to it.
Now I will specifically ask the question. We developed the first idea, helping others is our prime of life. And then help to others, one must have the open-mindedness, one must have the compassion. And my question is, with that open-mindedness, with your compassion, first you serve yourself and go to the others, or you serve others and leave aside the helping yourself, furthering. Out of these two, what do you feel?
Can't you do both at the same time?
I doubt. That may be one of the good thing. In that case, should we go for the priority selection, or let we happen it in the alternative manner? Yeah. No, you can. They can.
It's being recorded, so just sorry to be such a.
Well, I was reading this book, I don't really remember what it's called, but I reckon if you can't find inner peace and you go try and help other people, I mean, you know, it's because you've got to work through your own issues, and that's when you can help other people because you found the solution as to how to deal with problems. So I reckon the first step you've got to take is work on yourself, and then that through your own working through your own problems is the only way you can genuinely help someone else, because you can give them material things, but it's the mental things that really matter. So when you work through those, I reckon that's how you can help someone else.
Yeah. That may be my idea also, but I must be very middle, not to bias it, and therefore first serve yourself and go. And I will to her argument, I would say the first example, medical students, if you all are here, you have a certain amount of idea about the health, you have a certain amount idea about the germs, and you have the certain idea about the sanitation in the social status. So right now you can start. Before finishing your degree and becoming qualified, you can go there. And then definitely I would say that you are hindering your become qualified, and therefore though compassion is going to give an urge, though the compassion is going to give the motivation, first getting yourself qualified, getting yourself prepared for that is the most safety method. So therefore, again we can come to the question, as far as setting the goals are concerned, what qualification are we after? To what kind of help we are going to do? Either it can be leading other people to Nibbana, or leading other people for the health, or leading other people for the wealth, or that is also within that. So therefore, maybe too early for your life to put this in question, but now the younger generation is quite bright. They can, argumentally, they can discuss these things. And I will give an example. When my teacher, he was a very elderly the Buddhist master, one of the best in the world about regarding this inside meditation. One day he's in traveling, he has been waiting for the transit in the Bangkok airport, and then there had been yet another renowned master from the Mahayana tradition. He also can come, both can't speak in English, but they are communicating through the interpreter. And then they have just say hello. And then they ask each other, what is you are teaching to the people, what you are teaching to the people. Then my teacher has told, I am telling to be mindful and qualified yourself, so that you are very qualified to help others. The other one has told, no, that is too selfish, and best thing is to help others, and therefore that is what the world need. And then my master has told, the Buddha has taken this question. He says, everyone is in a bog, everyone is in a muddy place, and everybody is trying to escape from the mud. And you can see many people are now in the same fate. And being that if you are going to raise the other people, what happens is you will get more and more sink in the mud. So therefore, if you really wish to help, what you have to do is, some or the other you have to go to the dry land, and being in the dry land you have to help others. So he says, giving that example in a meditation group only, he says, those who are not qualifying themselves and trying to help others, he told, I categorize them as opportunists. Those who have helped oneself and still not helping others, I would say selfish. Therefore, we must not opportunities, or we must not be selfish. So therefore, we have a limited amount of time, limited amount of resources, and therefore we must first understand what are our capacities, and then how can we qualify ourselves to help others. And once you qualified, you have to keep on helping others, and then again kind of a galvanizing effect happens. Again the reinforcement happens about that. So therefore, as far as the welfare of the being and helping others is concerned, more secured way is you must be in a dry land. You must be in a good establishment, and then only you can help others. So therefore that is the balance between the wisdom and the compassion. If you put the compassion first, you will be right out, go there and help others without fulfilling your wisdom. And if you are going to only the wisdom, you will be completely selfish and keep on doing. So you have to have the balance between the compassion and the wisdom. That is how the life become saturated or contented. That is the contentment we are searching about. So within the life or beyond the life, the contentment is the one we have to share with others, and we have to search within the life. The opposite of the contentment is unsatisfactoriness or suffering, and throughout the world you have so much of issues and examples and kind of suffering. So the contentment and suffering, these two, the gap is the one motivation. Within that only we get motivated and search in search of the contentment. So still we can't conclude, and what are the things we are going to discuss in this youth program.
From the Buddhist perspective, how do we define what is contentment? I mean, in life we try to succeed, and how do we know we're successful? I mean, because we're content, but how do we define what contentment is in life?
It is a evolutionary, it is a evolving kind of thing. I would like to take the subject of mindfulness, and then we can come up to a certain tangible criterion about this contentment. According to Buddhism, in deep, if at all contentment to happen, it must happen now, it must happen here, it must happen within me. Whenever it is not now, whenever it is not here, whenever it is not particular person, you are discontented and no boundary you can find. So therefore, whenever you come here, now I am, that very moment you can test year after year whether there is any kind of unsatisfactoriness in the here now I am. So it is one of the way defining the meaning of mindfulness, or you can say how to be diligent. And being here and now itself I can demonstrate, and we can try and sit and meditate and practice it. But the problem is, how can we continue it? And when you are being here and now, what kind of evolutionary revolution happening in your brain, and where it is leading. So it is now happening in the developed countries. As far as you are mindful, how much is the this is train your mind and change your brain. So everything can be reshuffled. As far as you are not mindful, this is your brain is a hardwired circuit. You can't change it. But whenever you practice, whenever possible, be here and now. You can change your liking and disliking. You can change your personality, and ultimately you can shape it up as you like. So therefore, the contentment at the starting point, we can say, be here and now. It is called power of now. It's called power of mindfulness. So, have you ever heard about this, or is it the first time that am I the person introducing this? Power of now. Power of mindfulness. Not really Deepak Chopra, he is also coming, but Eckhart Tolle, he accidentally came into this kind of thing. He has been 29 years and he has had a panic attack. So he has decided to commit him suicide, because there is no way, because when the panic happens, he goes 3 days consecutively, depressed and all the kind of thing. He's a born non-Buddhist person. I think can die, I think. And then he has bought sleeping tablets and keep it in his desk, thinking that whenever necessary he can't bear it up, he will take it up. So he has till one night at about 1 o'clock, he got a severe attack, and then he was thinking that taking this also not the end of the problem. Definitely he is going to kill or commit suicide, definitely that is decided, but he has, something has told him that the idea came, taking this won't end the question. And other side, the mind says, I can't live with myself even for 1 split second. No use. And the severe pain, severe panic attack. And then the second sentence he has analyzed. If I can't live with myself further for 1 second, that means 2 selves. I live with myself. Which one is the correct one and which one is the falsified? And all of a sudden, when he, from the panic pain, this thing, he has taken this grammatical this thing, the panic attack has been severely multiplied. And then he has told, no, I have to just see two elements are there. Which is my real reality, which is my real self. And at the end of the panic situation, he has taken for a ride the huge light and the lightness, and ultimately he has gone through something severe revolutionary. When he get up, he has found everything is changed and there is no panic. The life is here, already achieved. What to achieve? This moment is achieved. So he says after 6 months, he has just gone to the public parks and take a seat. He just see what is lacking. Nothing. Life is full of. Now he has become the world teacher. He is teaching about power of now. He has become a real peacemaker. For the last the Vancouver summit, he gave a delivery talk. His Holiness Dalai Lama gave, and Nelson Mandela gave, and he came all of a sudden to the world teacher level. He is telling, we are searching, without knowing, now we are already in it. We are now in full contentment. That means as far as you come here and now, that's all. So then, what is the help we can give to the others? What is the help we can do it to ourselves? Is becoming a very electric-like, a very short-circuit-like. I think that is a good way of looking at the life. Instead of searching, thinking that the other shore is greener, you know that when the cow is eating in this shore, this bank, and it can see across the water, there is yet another cows are grazing, and it sees that the green is thick and very nice, that cow is eating in a very nice green. But mine is not so, it is little dry and all the kind. But the other show, that cow thing, I am eating something dry. The other show, cow is eating very nice because it can see the green. Exactly the same. Whenever you achieve something what you wanted to, it becomes useless. So that means there's a secret. Even now, even here, even within yourself, the contentment is there. But the young age, always living in the future. Future planning itself is an excitement. So therefore you are no more here, no more presently, no more with you. So you make distractions. I don't think the elderly generation is escaped from that. They are also in the same trap. But unlucky enough, they are worrying about the past. That's the only difference. Younger generation is future. So somehow or the other you miss the bus. So that is, the Buddha call it as a sati, the mindfulness, or we can say the diligence. So these are the two. When I was in the university at the age 26, I had no any precepts or any Buddhist directions. I was studying in the science subjects. But some or the other came a shock, came a kind of a disappointment when my father passed away due to a cancer, or specifically a ulcer. And then it was like everything shaken. I lost that. I thought, what is the use of this university graduating? Ultimately, everyone is ending up exactly the same miserable level, because my father was a very virtuous, not taking any alcohol, not taking any kind of thing, and raising ourselves with the day-to-day page earning and all the kind of still the same. So I was completely disheartened. I thought that, what is this education at last? So I wanted to just give it up. I found good, not for a good reason, but due to the disappointment. And then my friends came and told, that is okay, but never mind, you continue with the studies. But later I had a chance to meet one of the Australian monk, Venerable Sravasti Dhammika, and I went to him not to learn Buddhism, because he's a white monk. That was only attraction. So I went there and discussed with him. Then he told, you buggers, useless talk with and get out. Then I told, why? Because you claim you are Buddhist and you are coming from the Dhammajiva, but you don't know. You are not practicing Buddhism. How can you say, I got a credit pass in the Buddhism? You can't claim, you are non-Buddhist. Then he told, use this, you never see the Buddhism in the pragmatic way. Then I told Bhante, don't say like that, you have to tell something and practice me and put into test and then tell you. So he asked, do you know the mindfulness? Then I don't know, mindfulness is not Buddhist. We don't know mindfulness. And diligence, no. Then he said, that is the Buddha's real message is mindfulness, but you claim you are Buddhist, but you don't know. Then I don't know, still I am claiming that is not Buddha says, the giving generosity and giving dana and listening spirit and going to the temple and tum. That's all Buddhism. So he told, that is what, that you people, being Buddhist, even in Sri Lanka, you don't know. Then I told, let me know. He told that, at that time my English was very poor. He told how to communicate. He just gave me a few books. Each and every time I read the book, I protested. I told, this is not the Buddhism we are learning. See, 8 years it took me to understand what is the real meaning of what he is talking about, what the mindfulness is. Meanwhile, I finished my degree, I went to the postgraduate, everything. Even then onward, mind you, I never stopped my education. Slowly my life was getting organized, and my idea was to be here and now. While studying, while doing any job, while helping others, while helping myself, anything, to be here and now. And I doubt whether you will follow it the same. But if you are following, I'll give you one advice, don't let anyone know that you are practicing mindfulness, because your parents will stop you. They all wish you to be a doctor. They all wish to be a civil servant, all the kind of thing. They think that if you are really practicing, you will ordain and all the kind of thing. So therefore, if the young, specifically young girls, practicing, don't let anyone knows. And the mindfulness, no one can find. You can do it completely normally, not changing your clothes, not changing your any ability. Just try to be here and now. Ultimately, that will give that all the answers and questions. You will understand ultimately even now, whenever you come to the here and now, the contentment is there. And we think for that the education, the beauty, the money and the fame and gain. I mean, they are real disturbances. You have to just be on the earth, be on the ground. And my simple example is, if you look at a very young boy or young girl, babies, they are fully mindful. I mean, all the time they are there. What happened in your age? You are projecting future. and lose the present moment. You are thinking about some of the dream worlds, so you lose this anchorage. You are thinking about some other person, or your role models, or your fiancé, whatever may be, so you lose to yourself. And then, that is the point. You have to all say that all you can have, all likings and disliking, future planning, everything, knowing that I am future planning, knowing that I am regretting for the past, knowing that I am thinking about another person, that very knowledge is the one the Buddha invite. And he says, younger the better. Whenever you implant this here and now or mindfulness into the life, it keep on growing. There is no change in your timetable, there is no change in your costumes, nothing. Everything when you do, try to be mindful. So anyone have this kind of experience, or am I misleading you all people? Anyone practice among the younger generation about mindfulness, or heard about mindfulness, or thought about mindfulness? I think last year also we met and we had a little discussion about the mindfulness.
I just thought I'd just raise a few points in regards to what you mentioned now. I think most of us, we are here to be human beings, right?
Yeah.
And you push that whole concept of being here and now and the presence and the mindfulness, which I guess is an integral part of our understanding of Buddhism. But I think that from viewing the world and what's happening, it seems like we are humans here to be human beings, but we have gotten obsessed with humans doing. So instead of being human beings, we're like human doings. We're always obsessed with doing things rather than just being. And I think that's, I just wanted your opinion on that. The other aspect I wanted to ask you was that we live in a world where fulfillment, in terms of fulfillment and contentment, or whatever you want to call it, a lot of people would, I'm not sure whether everyone would agree with me, but some of the prime directives of life have revolved around growth and contribution, and I think that's where that initial discussion was. So, how would you expand on that whole aspect, that to achieve some sort of fulfillment in life, you need the growth as well as the contribution?
The very first part, in the mindfulness way, we have a motto: everyone is trying to live, no one is living. Everyone is living future or past or here and there, no one is living. To live, you have to be here and now. And the second thing is, the only difference in the evolution from the animals and the human being is, only the human can be here and now. Being an animal, that cannot be communicated, they can't practice it. So therefore, additional thing, after getting this human brain or human being, additional thing we can test and see is, we can be aware of, we are thinking, we are planning, so be aware of the present moment. So therefore, to be human, you have to go to the full capacity. When you go to the full capacity, this is the additional thing. It is already endowment. We are not employing it. When the mindfulness comes, you understand how difficult, if you believe on the rebirth and kind of thing, to get the human life. Among the whole living universe, what a little fraction in the population wise human beings. And but the difference in the human beings is, they can be mindful. And the second thing is, whenever you become mindful, you here and now, you are not in a stress. You are not developing any kind of tension. You be here and now, and you find contentment is slowly coming. It is proportionate to the number of thought moments you can continue with the mindfulness. And when you are practicing, you see, to develop the mindfulness, all the raw materials and all the endowments are already there. Only thing is, our perspective is not for that. So best thing you can give it to other person is, help him to be mindful. That is the way we are contributing each other. And then they also will understand, as far as they are losing the present moment, whatever may be the grandeur ideas and kind of thing in the future, they are just mind-made. Here and now, is verifiable thing, directly experienceable thing. So when you look at other people, they never believe, they don't have any idea about their endowment. And if you're going to tell them, you being unmindful, they will not listen. First you have to be mindful and see the contentment, and then help others to see the capacity to develop mindfulness and be mindful. So therefore there is no much of a long, huge formulas to go. It's everything cut short into the present moment. But to be in the present moment and continue to be in it, it's a real task. And on that study, all the worldly understanding, worldly skills can be strategically used to be mindful also. So therefore the mindfulness is not completely away from your day-to-day life. Yeah, you have to, in meditation courses, here also, for the 5 days when I am giving the first introduction, I invited everyone to take this mindfulness as our prime aim and how to incorporate mindfulness into the day-to-day life. And I came out with the suggestion, there's a very intensive method where you can easily and quickly introduce the mindfulness. And the second thing is put it in a little semi-extensive method. And the last one is the extensive method, how to practice mindfulness in the day-to-day activity. This is what we call a meditation course or meditation retreat. And there we sit and do intensive method, do walking meditation for the semi-intensive method, and the day-to-day activities we do little slowly, and we listen to our own sounds and determine to make ourselves mindful whenever possible. And then slowly go into the thing. And then the American people, they are now practicing this mindfulness as much as possible with all the possible criterion towards the immunity of your life and the memory capacity and the stress reduction program. And they are ultimately asking, is mindfulness religious? Is mindfulness Buddhist? And when His Holiness Dalai Lama gave the answer, he says, it is not Buddhist, it is humanistic. Only the human can do it. But it won't give a degree, it won't give a diploma, nothing. It is just add you that the contentment in as much as possible here and now.
So if we take an example, if you go somewhere where there's no food or water for someone to eat, so is there a relationship between making them mindful and them getting food and water? Are they capable of even thinking of being mindful?
Yeah, definitely if you are going to face feminine or no food, no water kind of thing, first and foremost thing is your worry, first and foremost thing is your excitement, so it will burn more and more your existing energy and the food and everything. But the mindful person knows these are possible thing in the life. So now I am with the no food, no water situation, so he can comprehend the situation without running into a panic. Because he is mindful, he is not exaggerating, he is not, mental proliferation, he understands. And such a person will get a better opportunity to see a source of food. Because his mind is calm and quiet rather than panic. And therefore, there is no assurance, but panic won't help. Unmindfulness means always you are dreaming or you are always proliferating rather than be realistic. Mindfulness is asking to be here and now, be realistic. So that is the other way you can say the human life always leading to the old age, leading to the death, leading to the sickness. And when you are leading to the sickness, that is not welcome, but it happens. When it happens, up to that level you have a lot of hopes regarding your relatives, your money and social benefits and everything. But when the sickness happens, when you become cornered and when you become isolated, all these won't give you much of a sensible help. Unless otherwise you develop yourself, how to be friendly with yourself, how to be here and now, and how to be contented. You are ready to, you are mature enough to understand the old age, death and sickness. Otherwise you have a lot of dream and a lot of hopes, but ultimately you will understand they are not making a sensible answer for that kind of thing. So therefore mindfulness, not over entertaining the present moment, and no exaggerating an expectation in the future also, you try to be realistic. So therefore not pessimistic, not supermistic, just be optimistic. Mindfulness is always bring you back to the common sense, normal senses.
Sorry, Bhante, got another question. This concept of mindfulness, I'm just trying to understand it. Is it something relating to awareness, meaning awareness of yourself, awareness of what is around you, awareness of others? Is it something to do with that, or is it something quite different?
One Mr. Ken Wilber from America, he has put mindfulness with the choiceless awareness. Our all awareness colored with our choice, colored with our concept, colored with our perception. And therefore whatever we see, we are coloring it, we are adjusting it according to our likings and disliking. The mindfulness asks you to be aware, fully alert, fully diligent, but without a choice. And there also I would like to point the same point. Animals, they can't, there is no capacity to be aware choicelessly, because their instinct is there. When a cat seeing a rat, there's no way, it has to jump and eat. But we are also run only by the emotions, we are also falling into the same trap. But whenever things happen, you have a capacity. Of course, when you are practicing, you will come to more and more. This is choiceless awareness. That's something rejuvenating. Awareness with the choice is senility. You are easily taken to the old age because it is wasting, it is burning the candle from both the ends. You are not seeing things, you are putting your choice, and then you are smearing it and polluting it. But the choiceless awareness, only possible for the open-minded people, only possible for the compassionate people, and then you are aware of yourself. And when you fail in your exam, what you do, you accept it. It is you aware. It's not always something to be regret and sorry. The thing happens, and sometimes you over thrill when you get the pass. No, that is also not necessary. Things are things. So likewise, don't exaggerate things. Don't undermine the thing. Seeing things as they are. So therefore, mindfulness is lead. I would say the immediate result of the mindfulness is to see things as they are. For that, awareness is a very good term, but awareness must be qualified with the choicelessness. Or some psychologically they say evenly suspended attention. Very attentive, very alert, but evenly suspended. Don't have premeditative ideas. Don't have colored mind. Just see things as they are. So this is the way the young children are looking at the world. They have no concepts. They have no good and bad. They look. And therefore when we look at the children, our attention also goes. Therefore children are considered as auspicious things. But they have no concepts. They have no choice. Everything fresh. So therefore whenever you become choicelessly aware, you are coming back to the child psychology. I am not telling the childish. You come back to the freshness. You come to the bright mind. So therefore, education is choice, not the choiceless awareness. Education have this particular aims and kind of thing. But while you are doing, you can employ this choiceless awareness. I don't know, for the choiceless awareness, I don't know the Sinhala term. The awareness is the avadi bhava in Sinhala, but when the choiceless awareness, therefore it is a very good coining of the word. Very nice.
on a practical sense, what can we do to be more mindful in what we do?
So that means they're simply asking how to meditate.
Do you have any tips for us in trying to do that?
So that that is the way I tackle this question. For me, Buddhism means vipassana. Vipassana means mindfulness. Mindfulness means here now I am. And for that, 3 strategies are available. The first one is the intensive method, semi-intensive method, and the extensive method. The intensive method is, if I am excused, the Buddha says, when your eyes are open, your mind is often taken for a ride, because eyes are very alluring and very swift. And the ear, the next, and the next the tongue, the nose, the tongue, and the body is the one he says better to start with. So therefore he says, go to a place and where you feel comfortable and close your eyes. That means some kind of a familiar place. And then go, and as far as the 4 postures are concerned, he says walking, standing, sleeping are not good for the beginner. So you sit. You sit and close your eyes, go to a silent place, and it must be normal air, no smell, no good or bad, and don't taste anything, just let the tongue to retire, and then you be aware, here now I am sitting. That means you are completely forgetting about the whole world. You come to a very comfortable sitting posture and be aware of, here now I am sitting. So if you are successful, you may find there is no much of daydreaming, fantasizing kind of thing, because you come to a good environment and you feel contented and there is nothing much of worries. And then no bodily pains must be there. If bodily pains are there, you are distracted. And the no much have distractive sounds. And then you have to understand, here now I am. And I would say it is not only mindfulness, it is the compassion, it is a loving kindness to your body. You will one day understand your whole timetable is based upon hate. You never love your body. If you are doing, it is maybe due to lust or it is due to the hunger, but you never be with yourself. You always live with the other minds, other places, other times. But here, you ask your mind to be with the body. Now I am here. And the Buddha says, if you come to the here now I am, only thing you can see, only thing you can feel is the life process, the breathing process. And if it is not available, if the breathing is not there, just try to be here now I am sitting. Or just being. So when that comes also, the kind of a calming happens. The breathing slows down, the mind calms down, the body fit into this posture. And if the breath happens, you can just take the breath as the object of meditation. And you can see, don't interfere the breath, let the natural breathing happens, don't do forced breathing in order to make it conspicuous, and then to observe the breathing, then you will understand simply, the breathing happens, the process happens only in the upper part of the body, you can forget the lower part of the body. That is why you have to sit very comfortably. When you are properly assume the posture, it must be just like a pyramid. It must be the full triangle must touching the ground, and then keep the hand something like that, and then it's like a pyramid. And the best is going for the lotus posture, but for younger generation it's a good challenge, but the older generation, sorry, they are not trained. So therefore, if you can go to the lotus posture, the best is when you are sitting like this, the bones are touching, so immediately the burning start. But if you put the full lotus posture, only all the bones are coming up and the lower part appear like a cushioning. It's very difficult. Therefore, meditation is not the lotus posture, but it's a very conducive condition. And if it is not so, just assume and try to be Try to understand how many thought moments, how many few seconds, how many minutes you can be with yourself. So this is a very good starting point of the starting mindfulness, starting diligence. If the breath happens and if you can confine your attention to the upper part, then you can see breathing is completely happening independent of yourself. Voluntary or involuntary muscles can do it, whether you get involved or not. So therefore, best idea is don't get involved with the breath, just breathing happens. And when it happens, once you've forgotten about the lower part, keeping the upper part more conducive for the breathing process. If you wish further clarification, further adjustment, further tuning, you can just see what is the most prominent touching point in the upper part of your body, where you can select as the representative point. And the idea for the last 2,500 years they have tested is the gushing air at the nostrils. That will be the point where the in-breath and out-breath will be more representative. If it is so, technically we call that is anapanasati bhavana at the nostrils or upper part of your upper lip. So some people feel the rising and falling movement according to the breath. So whatever may be, once it come in a natural way, still you reduce your attention here and completely forget about your whole body, let it maintain by itself. And then you try to be with the breath. No forced breathing. And there you will understand, if the attention is come to a particular point, while in-breath happening, out-breath is no more. So you can 100% be with the in-breath. And when the in-breath finished, out-breath come, no in-breath, you can see out-breath. So if you are carefully observing, for the first time in your life, you will understand what are the characteristic difference between the in-breath and the out-breath. This is a very nice criterion, someone to say whether I am really mindful or not. And the Deepak Chopra, he once mentioned, this is the what deciding our life. If we are in a stress, our breath is very fast and the heart is overbeating. But in the calm mind, breath is very slow. If you are slowly breathing, you will be long life. If you are quickly exhausting, you will be getting a heart attack and the blood pressure and all the kind of. So therefore, those who can control the breath, not the control, the calming down the breath is going to have the calm life as well as the longer life. But the way we use, the unmindful way, we never live with the breath. So he calculates, he says maybe 13,000 breaths equal 100 years or something like that. So he says economically use the breathing, and he says we are so unconcerned about us, we don't know which million we are now in, how much gone, how much yet to come, we don't know. When the deathbed happens, we are very conscious about to get few more breathings. But now we are not. So therefore when the mindfulness happens, you can see in-breath, out-breath. And there you find the kind of course, if you are successful, inalienable, unalloyed kind of a contentment. That the contentment you are going to get through the breath need not any additional additives from the outside. Ultimately you find you don't feel like getting out of that because it gives kind of a contentment. This is the way I consider testing and put yourself to test this mindfulness. And as students I would say, if you do this before you study, before you read the books, the mind become open, and they say you develop kind of a photostat memory. You have nothing to read about the line by line, you can see the whole page. Some people develop the photostat memory, everything is like you have taken the digital photo line, because the mind is free rather than desire and kind of thing. So you see, when I am doing my comprehensive exam for the MSc, I was doing a job and no chance me to go for the books. But ultimately, I knew few days time, so take leave and put the mattress down there. All the books are open. I was making note and kind of thing. Ultimately, I know. Definitely, I know the subject, but all the formulas, everything forgotten. So when I go to the comprehensive exam, the board of members came, and they started taking my name and this thing. I found I am in the tension. Then I found that if I am to answer the Viva exam in the tension, definitely I am messy. So what I did was, I closed my eyes while sitting there. Three, 4 breathings time, I feel I am just living at home like. Because the breathing I have trained little, when the mind goes to the breath, I don't feel like I am in an examination hall, I am in front of the examiners. I am just felt kind of a familiarity. Then one person asked that I have did my agriculture degree, and he told that at that time, I am talking about 1984 or 86, they told if soybean products are being distributed to Sri Lanka, if you are to conduct a social survey on the consumption of the soya, what are the strategies you are doing? Definitely I know I have to tackle it in the common sense. So then I told I will go to the retail centers, I sample and I to see where the how the outlets are happening. And all of a sudden another yet member came and sit in the board. And he listened to me and he told, you have not tackled that the introduction of soya to the consumers, you are directly going to see the consumption. Isn't it that you have to introduce first? Then I told the board, if I am to answer the second question, I have to leave the first question. So therefore second question is disturbing my thought of thinking. So therefore if you please withdraw your question, I will tackle the first. Otherwise, board has to decide to withdraw the first question, give me the second question. Otherwise, I can't maintain my integrity. And they look at each other. No, you leave the second question, you go with the first. So I, common sense I managed, and I told, your question is about the introduction, early question is about the outlets. So therefore I am tackling. So I am getting my reins now. Slowly they came, this and that, battling. And I found no much of tension. What happened was the person I accused came behind me and he took my hand, shaken hand. He told, I never see this kind of a relaxed way of facing the comprehensive exams. Thank you very much. Then I definitely knew I am passed. Because he is the person I attacked. So I know the girls in my class also, they are very neat, very good in studies. But in the front of the question paper, finished. And come and ask, how was the first question, what is the answer? And they, I didn't see the question, I misunderstood, whole finished. So to relax it, I mean, definitely it is something serious. But seriousness, this tension won't help you. You have to feel at home. To feel at home, beforehand you have to familiarize your at home situation. You just take everything out, sit yourself and develop this relationship with the mindfulness. Anapanasati. Any stress happen, anything happen, if possible, just go to have a normal few breathings time, you feel kind of a at-home situation. These are the way it is helping in the day-to-day activities. But when you go there, you will understand the in-breath and out-breath happening like a sine curve. Goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. And you are touching only the extremes because your mind is not much sensitive. If you are managed, if you can, come to the middle area, you can find the breathing process, even in the midst of sounds, even in the midst of thoughts, even in the midst of pains, you can see that is continuous. So there you develop kind of confidence. Even the disturbances are there. If your focus, attention is there, you can have your consistency. So this is how you develop the equanimity. Develop the equanimity towards the vicissitudes of the life. But it's happening in a very, very tiny manner. There I would say secondary, tertiary level of development. First you have to do is the focusing power. Everyone will accept, not only religious, every person needs the focusing power. That happens as a consequence of mindfulness. But the way, the sitting, silent places and everything, young people find very difficult to get it. Because you don't have no much of time. You have this kind of place. So therefore, as an alternative, you can do walking meditation. Have you heard about the walking meditation or have you seen? The walking meditation, open eyes, bird songs are there, and when you sit, you feel very irritating, and then it's an alternative. While walking, you try to feel your foot's steps. Right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg. And there are distractions are there, but the more than touch of the air, the touch of the ground is much grosser. So therefore you can find. And that is why the many Westerners, they understand this evening walk. After the working whole day, before the dinner, they have an evening walk and then they feel relaxed. And after the supper, they can have a nice sleep. Exactly the way if you are doing walking meditation, the kind of a physical health also there, physical exercise also there. And there's no much of a cramping, not much of a focusing like in the sitting. Easily you can perform. So therefore, walking meditation is much recommended for the recovering patient, young children and beginners, they can do. But the thing is, sitting meditation, you can hide and do, but not in the walking meditation. So therefore, others will come to know that you are meditating. That is little dangerous. Specifically for the younger generation, keep it as a secret as long as possible. So you have to sleep while others are, you have to walk while others are sleeping. Or something like that. So in my case, I always go to the room and lock it and do walking meditation, sitting meditation. Walking meditation, very rarely I get it. But the walking meditation is a very, appropriate way for the sitting meditation, mindfulness. And the relationship is, if you can have a walking meditation and then go and sit, the success rate is 200%. It is like athletes, before they go to the event, they warming up their body and then only go to the event. Like that, before sitting, if you can do walking meditation, you feel like sitting after walking, and the mind is much restrained, you can do. So these two both appear like little technical, little scientific, but once you develop that, you can do day-to-day activities with mindfulness. My teacher told me, when I'm asking again and again what is the meaning of the day-to-day activity, he gave me some hints. One thing is, while you are brushing your teeth, make it a point daily, I will be mindful. So it is you do yourself, there's no much of a rush. So you can feel, and ultimately when you are, if it is welcoming, you can feel the taking the toothpaste, touching, the peppermint taste and all the kind of thing, and washing your feet kind of thing, you make a tag. And yet another tag we had, it's a little strange. As a he was a monk of course, I was a young person, at that time I hate monks, I don't know why. Whenever someone is going on the street, I find a fault. And I told that particular Austrian monk, towards the monk I am allergic. Then he told, don't tell you anyone, I am also the same. Then he suggested me, whenever see yellow color, be mindful. This is the second tag. So like you can have that. You know, that whenever you see a monk, when we are in the university, we see the monks. And they are not living up to this level, so therefore we always take them as a national jokers. So whenever I see, I find I can't be mindful because I develop the hatred. Then he told, take the yellow color as a hint or tag for the mindfulness. Likewise, he gave me few points. So I used to, and specifically I would say, the first I touched the mindfulness while walking. One day I was walking, I can remember, I feel like a puppet. Just walking happens as if I am looking at myself. So then only I thought this may be the point that I get a kind of a distance from myself and I can see actor, the action, the observer, everything like within myself. So, but to apologize, it took 8 years for me. Just to understand the mindfulness, because so much I protested, as therefore in 79, 80 I started, 688 I keep on, but anyway, there was a kind of a steady growth, but I never noticing that I am mindful. But keep on developing, and ultimately I made up my mind, I will sacrifice my whole life for the mindfulness. Ultimately I became a monk. Now you can laugh at me. This is what happens. Till you come up with the clearing the present base, the present moment, all the other projections are completely in dream. It is in sky. So you have to clear the present moment. So this is what the mindfulness, this is the way I can explain the intensive method, semi-intensive method and the extensive method. So anyway, now we have already taken 1 hour.
Does anyone have any further questions? I think we'll wrap it up if you don't have any questions. Anyone got any questions? No? Alright, I think we'll wrap it up then.
Before this thing, if you wish to further learn and study about this, 2 books I can recommend. One thing is from the Power of Mindfulness by Venerable Jnanaponik. It's a very small book published by the Buddhist Publication Society, and I will really say these books made me a monk. They really cut through and putting the ism out, take the Buddha Dhamma first and make it a challenge. The second one is Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's also a very famous one. That is also talking, but he get the examples only from the Bible, because he is writing for the Western countries. Some people, therefore, it is the unwanted thing he is doing, taking the Buddhist concept and giving the Western example. But he says that I am talking the West, therefore he take the example. But don't get mixed up with. But he is clearly talking about the concept. So if you have time, whenever you finish exams and kind of thing, read these 2 books, Power of Mindfulness and Power of Now. And advanced level, Bhante Gunaratana has written Mindfulness in Simple English. That is little religious. But these 2 books just communicate, and if you put the mindfulness or transformation of consciousness, that kind of thing into the computer, huge amount of things are now coming. But I recommended you for the beginners. Thank you very much.
Everyone, please thank the Venerable Dhammajiva Thero for his insights. We hope that you all learnt something new today. Really impressed by the turnout today. We've never seen so many people turn up. I just want to say over the next 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, we're also having, we need some youth to help out serving the dana and also serving the gilampasa. So if you're free, please come down, and we'd really appreciate your help. So all the best for the new year, and please thank the Venerable Dhammajiva Thero. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you.